All right, guys, so it is a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania, but today is not about the C8 Corvette Z06. It's about the C7 Corvette ZR1. She's getting the mod today. Kind of a mod. More of a replacement mod. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, so one of the very first mods I did to the C7 Corvette ZR1 is taillight covers. So this kind of blacked out the more silverish or clear taillights here on the C7, and while the clear taillights look good on some colors, black it stands out like a sore thumb. So those covers were the first things I did. Now I liked them at the time, but I have recently found a better set of covers that fit better, look better, and just overall are better. And I'm going to go over why they're better. I'm going to show you all of the benefits to these things, and the best part is they're only $95. So 95 bucks for all four, and they fit perfectly, they look great, and they're much more polished than the set we have on here currently. I actually don't even remember who made these to begin with, but at the time, the well, that was weird. A deer literally just ran behind me. Anyway, at the time, the C8 wasn't even out yet. The C7 was still in production, and I believe these were purchased in 2018. So a lot has happened since then. A lot more polish has gone into these, and yeah, the ones we were going to put on here, like I said, 95 bucks shipped. Check out the link in the description down below. You can grab them straight from my website. $95. That's a heck of a deal. Plus, you're getting a really high quality piece. If I recall correctly, these ones, whenever I bought these were almost $300. So the price has definitely changed a good bit. And like I said, the quality has come way up. So let me talk about what we're doing. Already you can tell I removed the two on the passenger side. Now, I removed them to test fit the new ones. I wanted to make sure before I even started making this video that these things were going to look good and be good. And immediately out of the package, I noticed these things are a lot more polished than these ones. So I'm going to show you why, but first let's get these off, because if you have a current set like I do and they don't fit the greatest, you're going to need to remove them first. And believe it or not, those things are on there pretty good. So we got to heat them up a little bit, pull them off, and then I'm going to show you once they're off what the benefits are of the new sets. So let's do it. So before we start removing them, I want to show you guys the difference here, because I've already taken off the passenger side. I want to show you why I'm impressed with the new ones versus the old ones. So let's start with the old one. This is the taillight cover. So right off the bat, it looks fine, right? It's molded to the C7 kind of shape, but where things start to fall apart isn't really until you see the new ones, because you don't really realize that the shape of this isn't quite correct. So right off the bat, the shape of the new one is much more fitting, because if you look in the back here, which is kind of hard to get to focus, this is flat. This is a flat edge right here, but it's not flat on the car. So grabbing the new one, you can see that edge is not flat now. It is curved in to fit to the actual taillight. Now you can see the definition around the edge there, even from the front. So this is the new one. They're both tinted about the same amount, but the second part that starts to get a little iffy for me is the unfinished top of this, because of how thick this one is, and it actually weighs more too. It has unfinished edges that stick out on the top. So right here you could see it's pretty rough on the top edge right there, and you will see that sticks out from the car about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and then again over on this side as well. So just kind of like rough unfinished plastic almost. And then on the side you could see this is how much sticks out from the car right here. Again, roughly 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch right there. Whereas if we look at the new one doesn't even have that same edge, because it actually fits flush into the taillight housing. So this is going to look a lot better on the car, because it's going to sit flush against the taillight. Another reason why this edge right here probably exists, to make sure that it can get closer in there than the other one. Again, if we look at the other side here, this is maybe a 1/2 inch, but then if we look at the other one, this here is thicker. This one's probably more like 3/4, almost an inch right there on the side right here. So this one I could tell just by feeling it, but I'm actually going to bust out the scale in a second, because this definitely weighs more too. Now, just so you guys know what I'm talking about, we'll try to look at both of these on camera from that same angle. Look how much thinner this one is in my right hand than in the left. See that edge right there? That edge literally doesn't exist on this one, because it fits right in. So less material, less weight, and it's definitely cut better to fit. And like I said, these things were either $200 or $300. These new ones are 95 bucks shipped. Again, check out the link in the description down below. I know you guys have asked me a lot about C7 content. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be doing. Some of these mods need re-updated on this car because whenever I bought a lot of this stuff, the car was brand new and there wasn't a lot of really good C7 stuff out there yet. So now it's starting to get a little bit better. People are starting to perfect these things. And I mean, you could tell just by looking at the front of that, this one has more definition that's going to fit to the actual taillight. So everything's got a harder edge, just like the taillights actually do. Now, the tint level of both of them is actually the same. It looks on camera like this one's a little bit lighter, but in person, they are the same amount of tint. So again, one thing I really liked about these ones, and odds are good I'll like the same about these because based on the tint level, is that you could still see the taillight and the turn signal very clearly through these. I know I'm going to get this comment anyway, where it's like, okay, yeah, black out your taillights so no one behind you can see when you're braking. You can still easily see when someone's hitting the brakes. So yeah, like I said, these ones are just totally flat with an unfinished design at the top that you're going to see. It does poke out, especially this part right here. And I'll show you on the covers that are still installed how much that is actually visible. And the one we're putting on today is going to fit into the actual taillight. So none of this is going to be, this unfinished edge up here is not going to be visible. So yeah, let me see how much these weigh. So original set, this is the bigger outer lens, 2.9 ounces. And the new set, 1.3. So significantly lighter weight. Not that we're going to be winning any, competitions here, but lighter weight is lighter weight. That's what we want. So definitely a lot more material on the older one. And the smaller inner lens, the old one, 2.5 ounces. And the smaller inner lens, the new one, 1.6. And same kind of thing exists for these as well. That inner edge, it's not flat on the top. It's a lot less thick, so it's going to fit into the actual taillight versus sticking out. Whereas the old version, just like the bigger one, sticks out and has an unfinished edge at the top. And this part up here is still flat. So yeah, we're saving weight. The design's better. They're going to fit better. They're going to look better. And they're 95 bucks. Guys, check out the link in the description below. But let's go remove the other two off of the car, clean it up, and get the new ones on. All right, so like I showed in the beginning, we already did the passenger side. So I'm going to show you how these things are sticking out on the driver's side. If you can see right there, that unfinished edge is visible on both the smaller and bigger taillight. So I can clearly see that is unfinished, and it's actually kind of open where it would almost let water in there. And these do get water behind them, don't get me wrong, the new ones will as well. But the way that they're set up, I've never really had any problems with like water spots or anything forming back there. But as you can see here, even on the side, it sticks out. Like most of my finger fits in between the gap there. So that is definitely not fitting like it should. And if I had to guess, it's because it's contacting the back part of this lens before anything else here. So it sticks out a good, that's about half an inch or so right there from the actual carbon flash bezel around it. Again, the top part is visible. Doesn't quite fit correctly. And if we look down in there, the fitment of these is not the greatest. At the time, it was the best that that we had, but yeah, these definitely need replaced. So we'll heat these up and get them off, but let me show you the way the new ones fit first in comparison. So the new taillight cover literally just slides in there, and the way that it pops into place, look at this right here. This is literally flat. I can't get my finger in there at all. It literally fits right up against it. Now same thing with over here, fits right around the taillight. So much better fit. This part right here especially, I can't get my finger in there at all. The bezel actually sticks out further than that part of it. And over here, this is sticking out a good bit beyond that bezel. So really, definitely a better fitment, better look. That just looks a lot nicer. Like I said, 95 bucks, guys. Check it out in the link down below. But let's go ahead and remove those. We got to take that off, clean up all the old tape, clean up any dirt that's back there, and then get these things ready for installation. All right, so like I said, I'm not a big fan of the fitment of these, but I will tell you this. They did not budge. The tape that was provided and everything worked really well on these. And to the point where I have to use an actual heat gun to soften this up enough to actually remove these covers. I don't want to break them because, you know, it's always nice to have a backup set just in case, I guess. But at the same time, they're on there, and they were definitely not coming off. So we'll hit them with a little bit of heat, and then I'll start prying at them with a pry tool, a nylon pry tool, so nothing gets scratched or damaged. You guys don't need to sit here and watch me heat up something, but I'll come back to you whenever I'm prying these things off. Oh man, those things were on there. Now obviously we still have to clean this one up because you could see the clear tape there, but if you look in the back, you could see again that real defined edge, and I can catch it with my finger, probably about ½ an inch, maybe a little less than ½ an inch of an actual lip that goes around the back side of the tail light. So not having any form to go around those on the old set here doesn't make a lot of sense, because that's not just a flat surface. You do want it to go back in there. So yeah, these are definitely going to be better. So anyway, we got to clean up this double-sided tape, which actually comes off pretty easily because it is the clear stuff. It is the very heavy bond clear tape from, I think, 3M, but yeah, see that come off pretty good, but it's a little dirty. We got to clean it up with some alcohol, get it ready for the new tape. Okay, like I said, we're going to take some isopropyl alcohol, just kind of rub this down, make sure we get all the tape residue and everything off. Plus we're going to want to clean these up real nice for the new tape to adhere to. So I'll just kind of go around the edges, because the new tape looks like it's going to stick on the front part here, so the flat part of the tail light right here in the front. So you want to make sure that's all cleaned up. Get as much in there as you can. If you have the old covers like I did, you're going to want to make sure to clean up in here real nice, because obviously once these are on here, you're not going to be able to clean up. So yeah, I mean, look at that. That got a good bit of dirt out of there. So definitely want to make sure you're doing that before you're sticking the new tape on. All right, so now we'll just do the same thing over here, and then we are ready to start putting the new ones on. Oh, cow. God, those are really on there. Make sure get all these edges as clean as possible. And the new tail light, like I said, the clear double-sided tape is all around the front instead of in the inside edge. So we're going to go ahead and remove the protective layer off the clear tape, which is always fun. If you know, you know.
5 minutes later.
So all of the protective layer is off. We're going to go ahead and stick this thing on now. Should just go straight in and push into place. Like I said, yeah, you should be able to feel it kind of pop into place on this one. So again, we're going to just hold it in place for a minute, but make sure that you have wiped everything down with isopropyl alcohol so this has the cleanest possible surface to stick to. So then we're just going to do the same thing over here, and then we're half done. You can see just how much more flush those fit. And if you look down here in the corners, you can actually see where the old ones were rubbing, whereas these ones have a nice clearance. So yeah, probably gonna have to buff those spots out at some point, but I wanted to show you guys that because this is just literal evidence that these fit better. And again, just for demonstration purposes, the light output is barely affected, if at all, to be honest with you. It looks like on the back of the camera worse than it does in person. In person, it looks like maybe 2%, if that. So these covers do a good job of making your taillights look dark, but not actually making them dark, if that makes sense. And there it is, all done, guys. Much better fitment. Much more fitting of a ZR1. Yeah. These things look awesome. I'm going to pull on the sun and let them bake for a little bit so that double-sided tape really adheres nicely, but these just look like they're actually supposed to be there. The other ones were good for the time, like I said, but these are way better for a way better price too. are completely done in the sun, kind of baking in that double-sided tape. Like I said, they look pretty much the same as the other ones, but they are higher quality, fit a lot better, and just look better on the car when you're up close. Tinted wise, they're pretty much the same. But again, if you have a black or a dark colored C7, really, unless it's a Laguna Blue, in my opinion, you probably should grab these. And like I said, I'll have a link in the description down below. But yeah, for this price, you can't beat the quality, guys. 95 bucks shipped. Check out the link in the description down below. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video, guys. If you liked it, smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, stay obsessed.